I'm going to try removing the masking fluid around the avocado. And this is a rubber cement quote-unquote eraser. Sometimes they're called different things. Rubber cement pickup. But I'm just going to try to I know there's been a lot sometimes the masking fluid will fuse with the paper and then not really come up. This, let's see, this is it's the masking fluid is incredible masking fluid, I think it's called. And I've had pretty good luck with it. Sometimes I've had problems with it. But as long as and the paper I was going to say is pretty nice Arches 300-pound from a block. Hey, you up there. But I am trying to be pretty careful and just kind of rub it away gradually. Some people literally just use their fingers, and you can do that. It can, anytime you're touching the paper, you're potentially getting hand oils on the paper. So I am trying to be pretty careful and just take off a little bit at a time. If it was starting to really fight me, I would probably slow down even more. But that seems like I got most of it. And among the several things you can tell is, you know, wherever the masking fluid is will be quite a sharp, crisp edge, which sometimes is good, sometimes is not. As well as the way I applied it to this particular one, I don't think I was being very careful. So, you know, it's a pretty sloppy little line, but that's going to be okay because I'm going to come back and kind of redefine and refine that now. And I think what I'll do first is another layer on the background. Let me see, are you up there? Okay. And it's going to be similar. I'm going to be a little bit more careful this time because I know that I don't have any masking fluid to protect the white of it's going to be sort of the inner part of the peel. But this is the same sort of thing, just wetting down area around, approaching where I want the water to stop, but not all the way to the edge. And now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have my brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of ultramarine blue. I don't want to get too dark, but I do want to definitely come around here and be a little bit more careful about defining this edge. And I will be coming, oh, I missed a spot over there, you probably didn't see that. I will be coming back in and doing some pretty dark color around the perimeter to represent the actual outer peel skin. So I'm not too worried that this is going to create a completely clean, perfect edge. But yeah, I'm mostly just trying to clean it up in a way that I'm still trying to be pretty careful. It's so easy to lose white paper, you know, you sort of go to all these efforts to save the white, and then oftentimes eventually you want to paint it with something, and then you can find yourself painting it just a touch too dark, and then going, dang. This little area right here was where I didn't, or I went quite a bit too far with my, with the masking fluid originally. I'm going to try to, I'm going to get a small, stiff, not totally stiff brush, but on my synthetics, I'm going to grab a little bit of color and just kind of come in here and do both a little bit of adding a little bit of color and trying to scrub out a little bit of that obvious line there. Blend that out a little bit. Once again, I'll be coming around with some really dark greens, dark cool blue greens. So that'll probably go away right there. But, you know, it's nice to fix up things along the way too. So that was just kind of doing that. That wasn't very exciting at all. But let's see, while I'm here, how about some more, a little bit more, it's drying over here, so that could be interesting. I'm gonna sort of paint in where I know this shadow is going to be. It's not going to be my final pass, but I am going to just drop in a little bit of color. If the paper's too wet, then it's going to bleed out too far, which it may be doing right now. If it's going a little bit too far, I can get a thirsty brush and kind of try to tame it down. But shadows are fun. I mean, there's all sorts of fuzzy lines going on, and depending on the light source of the shadow. So that sort of just gives me an idea of where that's going to end up. I'm just grabbing some, I think it's a mix of some indigo and some dioxazine purple. So that's going to give me my indication of where that's going to be. And partly I just wanted to, what did I want? I want to get to the, this a little bit more ultramarine blue and purple. Just trying to darken things up even a little bit more up here. But I want to get to another layer of the fruit. That is so it's drying a little bit over here, so that's not going to blend out over here, and probably not as much as I was hoping right there. But this is all sort of trying to kind of be being random in an organized fashion. Can you say that? I do like just kind of mixing. If I've done a bunch of cooler colors, sometimes it helps to bring in a little bit of a warmer red color. Do a little bit of back and forth. Squint. I think that's okay for that. I'm gonna wipe around the edges because I am gonna do this middle avocado flesh meat part, and don't want this excess water to be going where I don't want it to go. But let's see, I'm going to, the goal for this next pass is going to be similar to the outer edge. I'm going to try to clean up the inside edge a little bit. And just start and keep strengthening some of that yellow, the Hansa yellow light, and strengthening some of the green yellows and yellow greens. And then, depending on how the shape's going, I may continue to add some darker greens around the edges, or I'll see how the shape is drying and sort of assess from there. But let's see, I am liking this brush for this. It doesn't have a very fine point, which is kind of is good in some situations. I think especially glazing, it can be kind of helpful. If you're glazing too many layers with a brush with a really pointy point, it does seem like it can apply a little bit too much pressure wherever the point is going, the tip of the brush, and it can kind of pick up, agitate paint a little bit easier than something like this that's more of a mop, which doesn't have the same kind of point. But let's see, I think I can keep just kind of adding in a little bit of, wow, that's kind of dirty. I think my paint was I'm not sure. It's actually kind of a nice avocado-y off green, dulled out yellow green a little bit. And just to be clear, I am not going for an authentic color representation of an actual avocado, but mostly just having fun with a variety of yellows and greens. And the thing that I'm more trying to do is kind of follow somewhat accurately the value pattern. Grab a little bit more. I'm having wire issues. Sorry to hear that, James. But let's see, what is in my brush? It's sometimes, yeah, there's a little bit of green still in there. It's probably drying a little bit up towards the top, so I'm going to bring in a little bit more just Hansa yellow light. Trying to clean up that edge a little bit. I try not to flip things around too much in these videos, but by all means, to get a good angle for an edge, go ahead and flip things around like I just did right here. Trying to kind of clean up that edge. So I think it's at a pretty good stage to keep adding a little bit of this darker green. I am going to get a smaller brush because I don't want to. I am going to try to just kind of bring in some, like I was just doing there, a little bit of darker greens around the edges. I'm using my cobalt teal. Sometimes I'm sort of dropping it in like that. Sometimes I'm kind of trying to brush it around. But I am still sort of intentionally staying pretty light. As I transition down towards the bottom, I want it to get a little bit darker. I just brought in a little bit more, some phthalo green. And let's see, this edge is not quite grabbing me. I'm bringing back my brush, and I brought in a little bit of Hansa yellow light again. I'm just trying to kind of gently coax that even more to the edge. really works best with a pretty soft brush. And again, I'm not trying to, I'm thinking this is just another step of gradually getting a little bit darker towards the edge. See if I can maybe drop in a little bit of darker color too. This is a thirsty brush right now. And just, if there's a little bit that sort of seems like it's going where I don't want it, I can pick that up a little bit. I'm going to grab a smaller brush here and do a little bit of phthalo green and cobalt teal. It's getting a little bit dry down here, but I'm going to try it anyways. Should I keep going? Sure. It's definitely going to be this back and forth. And there's going to be areas where it's getting probably too dry to try to put in some additional color and have it really blend. But I'm going to try anyways. This part here, once again, is going to be the shadow shape. So as I'm doing this, I certainly know it's not going to be a crisp edge right there, but it's okay just to start getting the color around there a little bit darker. I think that's pretty good. Yeah. I'm getting to the point now where I could keep fussing, but I think that's a pretty good layer. Starting to get a little bit more darker around the edges in a gradual sort of fashion. Don't want to make it too consistent, a little bit random here and there. You can certainly sort of find yourself doing a little bit of this all day long, which I kind of like. So I think there's some cool stuff going on there. And yeah, Did I stick my hand in it? Oh well. Yeah, I'm going to let that dry and come back and do some more. Not sure what I did over here. Maybe I scuffed my hand against it. But it's kind of drying too much. Yeah, I'm going to let it dry. Okay,